Hey guys, it's Nicole back with a Spooky Time podcast, and I actually just released and recorded the Natalie Holloway case today. But since we've done, Nanny Doss, who serial killer, the Angela McConnell, and Michael Bingham, which was unsolved murder, and then we did Natalie Holloway, which was an unsolved disappearance, we're going to change the tune a little bit, and we're going to transition from the true crime aspect into a little bit of lore, just to try to break it up, because I don't want to just, do one after the other, and I don't want to bring it down, because the next episode I do after this one is going to be pretty rough, and I just kind of want to give a little break between, I don't want to bring the whole mood down, because I don't want the podcast to be just sad. So for today's case, it's going to be short. This one's just going to be short, and I'm just going to cover most of the basics. I'm not going to go into stories, people's experiences type of thing. We're not going to do that. Not for this one. When I get bigger, hopefully, and, actually have, people's stories sending in, the podcast with, a bigger fan base and, more resources, and, they do it full-time as, their main job. Whereas I don't. This is just a hobby right now, because I still do work, full time. So I'm going to start this one with the content warning, because this one does go back to Navajo lore. And it's kind of like a Voldemort type of situation, where, it's he who shall not be named. So for that, I'm going to say the name one time, and then I'm going to transition into something else, because I'm not Navajo. I have no native background, that I know of. But I do live on what used to be former native land. Most of the U.S. does. So I'm not about to jinx it, because I don't want none. I'm good. Today we're going to be talking about Skinwalkers. And that is the one and only time I'm saying that name this entire episode. I will be referring to them as SWs or as flesh pedestrians, because, we're doing synonyms here. So flesh pedestrians, same thing, one and the same. And I'm going to say this name one time, because they are also, briefly mentioned, the Wendigo. I'm referring to that as a Winnebago, because I ain't saying that shit either. I don't want none, I don't need none, I'm good. Alright, so, obviously that brings me into the first. Saying their name is said to draw them closer to you and give them power. And personally, I don't want to find out. So, like I said, calling them flesh pedestrians or SWs. It is an ancient native legend that takes on various forms across tribes. In Navajo lore, they are a kind of wicked or evil sorcerer who can shapeshift, but never perfectly. Something is always off, and usually it's the eyes. You will see a deer or a coyote or, something, but they have human eyes. And, that's kind of your telltale. Also, the Navajo version of the flesh pedestrian has deep roots in Aboriginal American folklore. Other tribes have their own version. The Pueblo people, the Apache people, and the Hopi have their own interpretation. Some customs hold tight to the belief that they are produced when a medicine man abuses magic for evil purposes, and they then form an entity of evil. They are said to have different abilities, which, I just covered some of. They are able to command other people and animals. Sometimes it is said, like, if you look in their eyes, then, the eyes are the window to the soul type of thing. They can possess you. The ability to shapeshift and the capacity to possess members from their tribes. So, like, we're just going to go back to, like, if it's Pueblo and there's a member of the Pueblo tribe, they'll be able to possess them. And no. All right. The causes are similar to that of a Winnebago, like I said, which is super similar, but we're going to cover that later, maybe. Because they are so similar, I might not. It's just like a little brief sprinkle. They are reportedly near impossible to kill, although some say a bullet, knife, or spear dipped in white ash might be able to kill it. I personally don't want to find out. Calling them is like saying Beetlejuice, and that is the last thing you want. The Navajo refuse to discuss them, especially with outsiders. It is still considered extremely taboo. When it comes to trying to identify one, there are several things that you would need to watch out for. They are similar to the Winnebago, and they are usually, but distinctly identifiable. First, you have the cries, and then you have the screams, and then you have the voices. If you ever hear a voice of someone you know in the woods, do not follow it. Sometimes it is said that the louder they are, the farther away, and the quieter they are, the closer. But that is not always the case. They are usually seen as a rotting, sickly, thin, large buck deer, coyote, wolves, foxes, or a tall, sickly, pale white humanoid figure with thin, stretched skin tightly over bones. They smell of rot, look almost human, but have red-orange eyes with a blue eye shine. They are super fast, and they are persistent. Flush Pedestrian Ranch is on former Ute native land. It is said to be cursed, to have paranormal incidents, to have UFO sightings, strange animal attacks, and cattle mutilation. In Navajo culture, they are blamed for bad omens, bad weather, bad crops, illness, death, and misfortune. They are known to stalk, follow, and even to go as far as to tap on windows, doors, walls, climb onto your roofs. You could also see them as animals who can match speed with a car and try to cause accidents. Most of these occurrences are on former native land, mostly in Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. So, if there's one thing that I have to say, it is to not go in the woods alone at night, and do not say their names, because you just might get what you're looking for.